Hi friends, my name is James Hardy with One Love Yoga. I'm coming at you from Salt Lake City, Utah. Today I'll be leading a 60-minute power flow yoga class. The focus of class today will be on strength, balance, flexibility, and connecting to your breath. Props you'll need. I've got a yoga block and a blanket. Now if neither of these are accessible to you, you'll be just fine. We're going to start out class today in a cross-legged position. Feel free, if you've got the blanket or the block, to use it just to prop the front edge of your sit bones up onto. And if a cross-legged position is not comfortable for you, feel free to start out on your back or a position that does feel good. If you're taking a cross-legged position, take a moment and pull the flesh away from your sit bones. And just walk back a step or two so we get right to the front edge. Close your eyes, and on an inhale, just bring your shoulder heads up high towards your ears, lengthening your spine. And as you exhale, just release your shoulder heads down away from the ears and the back. We'll move into the yoga breath, Dirga Swasana Pranayama, which is a three-part breath that really warms up the entirety of our breath capacity. So release your air all the way down to empty. Breathe into your low belly for 1, 2, 3, and pause. Breathe into your mid-abdomen and your mid-back. 1, 2, 3, and hold there. Fill all the way up to the chest, all the way to the shoulders. Once you've got your full breath, just relax around it. And then exhale for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. As you get down to empty, let your navel gently tone back to your spine. We'll do this one more time. Breathe in low belly, low back. And hold there. Breathe into your mid-abdomen and your mid-back. Pause, and then fill all the way up to the chest, all the way to the shoulders. Once you've got the full breath, relax around it, and then take that slow exhale just to release all the way down to empty. When you get down to the end of your breath, again, let your navel gently tone back to your spine, squeezing to empty. From here, Ujjayi breathing. So inhale through your nose, deep and slow, as if you're sipping the air in through a straw, like a slow motion gasp for air. And then on the exhale, just release out your nose as if you're fogging up a mirror, controlling all the way down to empty. So Ujjayi breathing, the breath of victory. It has a sound to it that when you're working those inhales and exhales through the nose by way of the back of the throat, you can hear ocean waves, or you can hear the sound of hollow wind. We let the breath be the guide for our practice. It is our link into mindfulness. Just by starting to control the inhales and starting to control the exhales, you're taking the activity of your mind and drawing it into the present moment, into the present experience. Take what works from me and leave the rest behind. Blink the eyes open up front to a soft gaze. And on your inhale, just stretch and reach your arms wide and tall. And as you exhale, bring your palms together and draw your hands down into your heart center. Take that a couple more times. Inhaling to reach arms wide, stretch up tall. Exhale, hands down to heart center. Awesome. One more time like that. Inhale, reach your arms wide, stretch up tall. Exhale, bring the hands down into your heart center. Just stretch your legs out in front of you. If you're up on a block or on a blanket, you can bring yourself down onto your sit bones. Maybe a little roll out through your ankles or a bend through your knees, just bringing the blood flow and circulation back in. And then we'll move into some seated twists. So left leg stays extended out in front of you. Grab your right leg and gently cradle the right leg to the body. You can use your hands, you can go in closer with your elbows or your forearms. Stay with your breath, lengthen your spine. And then we'll plant the right foot to the outside of the left thigh so your knee is up in space. Leave your left leg extended or bend your left knee so the heel comes to the outside of your right sit bone. Twist will take us to the right side of the room, so right hand reaches behind you. And then your left arm can either wrap to the outside of your right leg, or you could place the elbow to the outside of the knee. On an inhale, just lengthen your spine up nice and tall. And as you exhale, twist from center and send the gaze back across your shoulder. Hold your body inside of the twist and then allow that full, deep diaphragm breath to move through your body. Inhale will create space in the body, and on your exhale, you'll start to release a little bit deeper into it. Nice and slow. If you'd like to stretch out the right side of your neck, while you're here, just tilt your left ear forward to your left shoulder. And then you could lift your chin up in space, finding the front right edge of your neck. Or you could let the chin come down, finding the back edge of your neck, back right edge of your neck. Just massaging here, staying with the breath. So if your head is tilted to the side, on an inhale, just lengthen the head back up, gaze over to the right, and as you exhale, twist from center and get all the way down to empty, looking to the back of the room. Let your body unwind, uncross the legs, give a little bit of a roll out through your ankles, and we're going to take the other side. So leaving your right leg extended out in front of you. Grab your left leg and start to cradle the left leg towards your body. Again, using your hands or using your elbows or your forearms. Find the length up through your spine. Beautiful. We'll plant the left foot to the outside of the right thigh so your knee is up in space. Leave your right leg extended, or you can bend your knee so the heel comes to the outside of your left sit bone. Twist will take us over to the left. You can reach your left hand behind you. Again, right arm wraps to the outside of your left leg, or your right elbow lands to the outside of your knee. On an inhale, just lengthen your spine up nice and tall. And as you exhale, twist from center and send the gaze back across your left shoulder. Keep working through those inhales. Keep working through those exhales. Awesome breathing. And then if you'd like to stretch out the left side of your neck, just tilt your right ear forward to your right shoulder, elongating the left side of the neck, and experiment with lifting the chin up or letting the chin come down, just getting into the edges of your neck. And that exhale is a great place just to release the tension. If your head is to the side on an inhale, lift it back up, gazes to the left. And as you exhale, just twist from center, get all the way down to empty, gaze goes towards the back. From here, we're going to unwind, come back to center, and then we'll make our way forward to a tabletop at hands and knees. First thing in the tabletop that we'll do is take a big stretch for our palms and our wrists and our fingers. So you're going to plant the palms down with the inside of the wrists facing forward, your fingers facing backward, and your thumbs pointing to the side of the room. And then from here, take a lean back in space and peel the hands off the mat all the way to your fingertips, and then gently roll back forward, getting the palms all the way back down into the ground. We'll just do this a couple more times. So leaning back in space, peeling back to the fingers, and we're coming back forward. Nice, one more time like that. Slowly leaning back, peeling back, lifting hands up, and rolling back down. And then from here, take the back of the hands down to the ground. Your fingers could point in towards one another, or they could point towards the back of the mat. And you don't need too much pressure here, just kind of massaging side to side, or doing that back and forth again. Find your breathing. And then we'll take it back into hero's pose. So sit bones back towards your heels, tops of the feet are to the ground. And just give a roll out through your wrists. Excellent, friends. We'll, from here, move into a plank position. So find your palms directly underneath your shoulders, hips up on level with the shoulders, and we can draw a little bit of length through the low back, letting the tailbone pull slightly back towards the heels, feeling the low abs hug up and in. Stay on your toes or drop your knees to the ground and cross your ankles, keeping a flat back. On your exhale, we'll come halfway down, leading with the sternum. And as you inhale, just lift back up the top of your plank. Again, exhale, come halfway down, leading with the sternum. Inhale, lift back up. Avoid bending at your hips. Do one more of these. Exhale, lower halfway down. Inhale, lift back up. Awesome. This exhale, lower flat down to your belly. Then low cobra, tops of the feet into the ground. Slide your palms a little lower down the torso, framing the chest. And then squeeze the elbows in towards one another so your shoulder blades pull in. Start to lift your chest up off the ground. Keep rooted through the hips, through the abdominal wall, and through the feet. Awesome. Stay with your breathing. Create that length through the back of your neck, so chin slightly back towards the throat. And then I want you to float your palms just like a ½ inch up off the ground here. So it's completely out of your arm strength. And it's into those snake muscles, your core muscles, your back muscles. You can even feel it slightly down into the tops of the legs. Take one more breath in. And on your exhale, release down, palms under the shoulders, tuck the toes, inhale to up to a plank or tabletop. Then exhale shifts us back into our down dog. First down dog, friends, just walk it out. Drop the weight to one heel while you bend opposite knee. Spread out into your palms, into your fingers. Just warming up that length through the back of your legs. Releasing the weight of your head, finding your breath. And as we start to hold our downward facing dog, you've got that press into the circle of the palms, spread through the fingers, grip through the fingers. Release the weight of the head and let your biceps tone in towards center line. So you can think about you've got these imaginary tennis balls you're holding in between your biceps and your ears. And then you're lifting the hips back up nice and tall, then lengthening the legs back down behind you. Heels do not need to touch the floor. Just experience that length through the back of your legs. Take a deep breath in, and on your next exhale, bend your knees, look between your hands. We're going to step up into a forward fold at the top of the mat. From your forward fold with head released, inhale halfway up. So hands to shins or thighs, slight bend in the knees, lengthen the spine, strengthen the shoulder blades in. And on your exhale, refold. Let the fingertips tap down to the ground so you can bend your knees as much as you need to and give your head a slow nod yes. Slow side to side nod no. Weight of the head just relax down from the body. And then keeping the weight heavy in the head, keeping the weight heavy in the arms, vertebrae by vertebrae, just roll up to standing. Head will be the very last thing that stacks up, and when it does, you can inhale to reach your arms wide and tall. And on the exhale, just bring your hands down into your heart center. We'll inhale to chair pose, Utkatasana, so dropping the sit bones back in space. If you practice with your big toes together in space between your heels at standing, you want to have in chair big toes, ankle bones, knees, and thighs all pressed in its center. Or if you keep things at hip bone distance, we want to leave the knees at hip bone distance, so avoid those bowing in or bowing out. Now as you're sitting back in space and we're loading the weight into the knee joints, we need to fire up through the lower leg muscles, pressing down into the ground, fire up through the upper leg muscles, wrapping around the knee, and then feel your glutes pulling back up away from your knee joints. You've got the core muscles wrapped around the low back, and then your shoulder blades slightly toned in towards one another. Awesome. Breathe in here, and on your next exhale, just stand up and fold forward. Come all the way down, swan diving to forward fold. Inhale halfway up, lengthen the spine, strengthen the shoulder blades, and then plant the hands and step back to the top of your plank position. You can go to down dog, or on an exhale, drop halfway down, press to the tops of your feet. Inhale, upward facing dog. And here, suspending the weight on the tops of the feet and the hands, biceps toned in, shoulder heads down away from the ears and the back. Breathe into that up dog, and then next exhale, tuck your toes, shift the hips back up into downward facing dog. Excellent, friends. Find your breathing. And find that engagement in the pose. So rather than starting to rest into our joints, we're engaging around the joints, drawing those hips up and back, pressing into hands, hugging into biceps, pulling down through heels. Take one more breath into it. And on your next exhale, bend your knees, look between your hands, step or float up to your forward fold. Inhale halfway up, lengthen the spine, those shoulder blades tone in towards one another, gaze to the ground. Exhale, refold, and then hold navel to spine at empty, and we'll reverse swan dive, inhaling arms up wide and tall. And on the exhale, cactus your arms open and take a baby back bend, lifting through the chest. Inhale to reach your arms back up tall in space. Feel your right foot connecting down to the ground, and then you're going to draw your left knee up in space for a one-legged mountain. So left knee is bent at 90. Arms are reaching up nice and tall. Stay with your breathing, friends. And then from here, you're going to take an inhale to reach that left leg up tall. And as you exhale, we're going back into airplane. So swimming the leg back behind you in space, reaching your arms back in space. Chest is slightly shining up towards the top of your mat. Let the elbows slightly bend and lift, shoulder blades tone in towards one another. Let's do another inhale to come back up into your one-legged mountain, drawing the arms and that left knee up nice and tall. And on this exhale, we're going to go through airplane back into a flying lunge, where the ball of the left foot goes to the back of your mat, and then the arms reach back, spines on the diagonal. Again, chest has a little bit of that lift to it. You've got length through the back of your neck, but your gaze is forward. Feel that strength down around that right knee, thighs toning in towards one another. Get down to the end of the exhale, and on your inhale, open to warrior two. So knife edge of the left foot to the ground, left arm back, right arm forwards. Elongate the stance out a little bit. So I'm just walking my right foot forward. Feel your right knee right above your right heel. Heels in one line from the front of the mat to the back. Spine up nice and tall. Those thighs are toning in as you press down into the individual legs, into the feet. And then arms open up to the front of the room and the back. Shoulder blades pull slightly in towards one another. Shoulder heads release down away from the ears. And just gaze out across those fingertips. Let's take a couple more rounds of breath in this warrior two. One more inhale. And on the exhale, extended side angle pose. So hinge forward, right forearm to right thigh, or right arm down the inside of the right leg. And then you can have left arm straight up in space or left arm out on the diagonal. If your back left hip is lifting up, lower the left hip down a level with the right. Get into that lunge. Awesome, friends. Stay with your breathing. Little to no pressure into that right thigh, so your side body, right side body is lifting away from it. On your inhale, just come back up into your warrior two. And as you exhale, we'll reverse the warrior, just sweeping that right arm up and back in space. Let your left shoulder melt down away from your ear. And gaze up towards the sky. Stay pressed down into your lunge, lifting up through your side body here. Keep the strength in your legs. Stay with the inhales, stay with the exhales. Nice. Just find one more inhale into the reverse warrior. Now on your exhale, cartwheel your hands down to a low lunge position. Okay, cool. From the low lunge, just bring your gaze slightly up in space. And on your inhale, you're going to step up into your chair pose. So left foot meets the right, arms lift up nice and tall. Stay with that breathing. Find the strength back through your shoulders. You're doing awesome. And then flying chair on an exhale. So you'll lift your heels up off the ground. You're on the balls of the feet. And then reach your arms back in space. You've got those elbows toned in towards one another. Chest slightly lifting up. Stay with your breathing. And then just plant the heels. Inhale to reach your arms up nice and tall. Breathe into mountain. And on the exhale, cactus your arms open, baby back bend. Inhale to reach back up tall in space, and then hands into the heart center on your exhale. Inhale, reach and extend the arms up, breathe in mountain. And then this time you're gonna leave your left foot rooted and just draw your right knee up in space. Right knee bent at 90, thigh bone plugged back into your body. Focus on a spot in front of you that's not moving and feel that big left toe rooted to the ground. Awesome, we're gonna breathe in here with that right leg lifting, and then on your exhale, swim back into your airplane. So reaching the right leg back, reaching the arms back. Find that lift up through your chest. Gaze forward. Your shoulder blades can tone in. Shoulder blades slightly lift up and back. Staying with the balance, with the breath. Next inhale, come back up to your one-legged mountain. So bring the arms and the right knee up. And on this exhale, we're going to swim all the way through airplane into that flying lunge. So ball the right foot to the back of the mat. And then you've got your arms reaching back in space. You can tone those shoulder blades in towards one another, lift back up through the elbows. You've got that length in your spine. Excellent. All the way from the back leg through your spine, through the back of your neck. Feel the legs toning in towards one another. Get down to the end of your breath, and on your next inhale, warrior two. So now the knife edge of your right foot to the ground, left arm's coming forward. And take a moment, elongate your stance. So walk that left foot forward a little bit. You can slide that right leg back a little bit. Excellent. Once you've got a nice long stance, we can open the arms back up in space. Spine up nice and tall. Let the thighs tone back into center as you press down into the legs. And that left sit bone is tucked underneath your body here, so you're just shining forward through that left side body, pointing left knee forward, left toes forward. Arms equally extending to the front and back of the mat. Shoulder heads release down away from the ears. That tone of the shoulder heads and shoulder blades in towards one another. Let's find one more deep inhale right here. And on the exhale, extended side angle pose. So left forearm to left thigh, right arm could go straight up in space, or reach on a diagonal from your back right leg. And again, little to no weight down into that left arm. So not leaning into it, you're lifting away from it, finding the strength through your side body, through your core, and through your back here. Inhale, come back up, warrior two. And on your exhale, reverse your warrior. So you can do the right hand hip thigh behind you. Left arm draws tall up in space. Drop your right ear, your right shoulder away from your right ear. Lift up to that left arm. Your gaze could also go over towards the right side of the room, or it could go back down towards your foot behind you. Either way though, pressing into that lunge and find that lift through your side body. Take a deep breath in here, and on your next exhale, we'll cartwheel the hands down into that low lunge position. And then just bring your gaze slightly up. On your inhale, step up into your chair pose. Right foot meets the left. Excellent. Breathe in chair. And on your next exhale, flying chair. So lifting the heels and stretching the arms back in space. And the arms here are very similar to airplane, very similar to that flying lunge. Once you're down to the end of your breath, use an inhale to rise up into mountain pose. Exhale to cactus, the arms open, take the baby back bend, lifting through chest. All right, come back to standing, friends. Back into your mountain. So we're going to take this breath to movement for your right leg first. So on an inhale, just draw your arms and your left knee up nice and tall in space. And as you exhale, swim your body back into airplane, reaching left leg back, reaching arms back. Awesome. Inhale to reach back up into your one-legged mountain. And on the exhale, we're going to fly back into that flying lunge position, ball of left foot back of mat. Inhale opens you up, warrior two. Left arm back, right arm forward. And then exhale, extended side angle pose, right forearm, right thigh. Inhale reverses the warrior, sweeping the right arm up. And on your exhale, cartwheel your hands down into your low lunge position. Inhale is chair pose, so left foot meets the right, arms lift. And as you exhale, take your flying chair. Lifting the heels, sending the arms back. Inhale, reach up into your mountain. And on the exhale, cactus your arms open, baby back bend. Let's inhale to reach up into mountain. And on the exhale, just draw your hands out into the heart center. So now we'll take it on the left side. Inhale to reach your arms and your right knee up into one-legged mountain. And on your exhale, swim back into airplane. Arms and right leg back. Inhale, reach back up into your one-legged mountain. And on your exhale, we'll go all the way back into that flying lunge, ball of right foot back of mat. Inhale, open up to your warrior two. Right arm back, left arm forward. And exhale, extended side angle pose. Inhale, reverses your warrior. And on the exhale, cartwheel the hands down to a low lunge position. Bring your gaze slightly up. On your inhale, step up into your chair pose. And as you exhale, flying chair, arms back, lifting the heels. Awesome. Inhale, mountain, so drop your heels, reach the arms up. Exhale, cactus the arms open, baby back bend. Inhale, reach back up into your mountain. And on your exhale, draw your hands down into your heart center. Beautiful, friends. We're going to float a down dog. So inhale to reach your arms up, mountain. On the exhale, hinge out from the hips, swan dive down into that forward fold. Inhale, halfway up, lengthen the spine, strengthen around it. Plant your hands, step back to your high plank. Exhale brings us halfway down, root to the tops of your feet. Inhale, upward facing dog. And then tuck your toes and lift your hips back up into down dog. Take a deep breath into down dog, fill up. Exhale, sigh out the mouth. And we'll find child's pose. So come down to your tabletop. Take your knees out wide to the edges of your mats. Tops of the feet to the ground, big toes draw together. And just lower the weight of your forehead down to the earth with your arms out in front of you. Find those inhales, find those exhales. Beautiful breathing. If you want, for the last couple rounds of breath, just walk your hands forward so your forehead lifts off the mat. You give a little press forward into your hands, so you're pushing your sit bones back to your heels. Maybe let your torso even sway a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right here. Awesome. Inhale up to your tabletop. And then drop one of your hips down to the ground. We're going to move on to our backs. This is a great time if you would like to grab a drink of water and hydrate to do so. And then we're going to move into some core work on our backs. So bring yourself all the way down. Draw your knees into your chest. Wrap your arms around your knees and just give yourself a little rock side to side. Massaging out the hips, the sacrum, and the low back. First thing we'll do is take the legs straight up in space, hands at your heart center. And then the move we'll do, the core move, is on your inhale, you'll breathe in. And as you exhale, lift head and shoulders off the ground. Take hand up to opposite foot. Inhale, resets head and shoulders down. Exhale, reaches back up. So keep this going at your own pace. Stay with your breathing. So we're the last few right here. You're doing great. One more on each side. And then just relax. Try to maybe find a full morning stretch. So legs all the way out in front of you. Arms back behind you. Just give a little roll out through your wrists, little roll out through your ankles, move through your fingers, move through your toes. Awesome, friends. The next core move we'll do is going to be straight leg lifts. So you can either keep your head relaxed with your forearms at your side, or interlace your hands behind the base of your skull, lifting head and shoulders off the ground and finding a reverse tabletop with the knees stacked above the hips bent at 90. From there, extend your legs out to a diagonal, keeping your low back rooted to the earth. And the movement will take, on your inhale, lift your legs straight up, and as you exhale, lower back to the diagonal, keeping low back rooted. So this one, again, at your own pace. Nice work. We're on those last few. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Bottoms of feet together, Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined down angle pose. Knees out wide. Relax your arms where it feels comfortable to you. Take a couple rounds of breath. Sweet, and then just bring your knees to your chest, grab your hamstrings, and we'll do a rock back and forth the length of the spine a few times. This takes you from the base of the skull all the way up to your sit bones and back, and then we'll catch ourselves up in boat pose, Navasana. So you're balanced up on the sit bones, and as you pull against the back of the legs, lengthen your spine up, let your shoulder blades tone in towards one another. Find that lift up through your chest. And then on your inhales, you'll bring your knees in as you reach your arms forward. And on your exhales, you'll open back up. So breathe in and release out as you open up. As you're working through these, when you open back up into that boat, we want to feel those shoulder blades just toning back towards one another on the spine, for the spine. Awesome. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Cross your ankles. Bring yourself forward to a tabletop, hands and knees. We'll find cat and cow. So inhale, drops the belly, lifts up to the chest and tailbone. Exhale, rounds the back, dropping the tailbone, releasing the head, mid back high. Work through these at your own pace, taking the bow in the spine and taking the arch in your back. And you can rock a little forwards and backwards while you're here, or let the hips or shoulders just gently shift side to side. Find a neutral flat back, hands and knees. Then we're going to move into Dolphin Pose. So if you want to use a block to help with the frame of Dolphin, you can put the block on level 1, just in between your thumbs and your pointer fingers. And if you're not using a block, no worries. We're going to bring the elbows from tabletop down to the ground directly underneath our shoulders. If you've got the frame of the block, again, thumbs and pointer fingers around the frame, you're spread out into your palms, you're into your fingers. You're making the shape number 11. And then we can start at a forearm plank if you want, to just step the toes to the back of your mat, hips on level with your shoulders. And then when you're ready, you'll start to walk the toes up towards the elbows, making an A-frame on your forearms. Head relaxes, sternum is lifting back up towards the thighs.
Sacrum is slightly spilling forward at the top. There's a lot of shoulder strength on the back that lifts the sternum up towards the thighs. Heels gently pulling down behind you. If you'd like, let's inhale the right leg back up to a three-legged dolphin, extending, breathing. Take one more breath in. And on your exhale, release down. And we'll do the left leg. Inhale, left up, nice and tall. Stay with it. One more inhale, lift up. And on your exhale, step down, full dolphin. Walk your toes to the back of the mat, forearm plank. And then we'll find Sphinx pose. So drop your hips down to the ground. You can slide the block out of the way if you like. Root it into your elbows, into your forearms. Lift up through your chest. Find the length through the back of the neck. Tops of the feet and legs just release down. If you'd like, just twist your gaze over your right shoulder. And if you're twisted over the right shoulder, nice and slow, take the gaze across the left shoulder. Awesome. Let the weight of the head just come forward, releasing. A little bit of cat in your upper spine. And then release your chest all the way down to the ground. Take the palms underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes, and on an inhale, you either lift up to plank or tabletop. As you exhale, shift your hips back and up into down dog. Inhale to reach your right leg back up nice and tall, three-legged down dog. And on the exhale, open the hip and bend the knee, making a scorpion tail. Knee lifts up high, toes drape down over to the left. Breathe into it. And on your next exhale, you'll step your right foot up in between your hands to find a low lunge position. Left hand stays down to the ground underneath your shoulder. You can use your fingertips, fist, or palm, and just inhale your right arm up nice and tall, twisting open. Stay with the breath. If you want, we can start to move to the middle fingertip of the left hand or float the left hand off the ground, taking it just into our legs and our back. On your next exhale, if your left hand is lifted, bring it to the ground. And you'll bring both hands to the inside of your right foot. And we'll move this into runner's lunge. So heel toe your right foot over to the right side of the mat to make room for both of your hands. Slide your left foot back a little bit. And then you can either keep your back knee lifted or drop it down for more support. You can stay up on your hands, or you can grab that block and drop your elbows down to the block. Or if you've got it, you can bring your elbows all the way down to the ground. Excellent. Just for a front profile of this one. Just keeping that right knee right above the right heel, spreading out into your toes, into your foot. Few more rounds of breath on this. Perfect. So if you're on the block, we're going to lift the block away, come up to our hands. And then come back into a low lunge position. Just heel toe that right foot back in for a moment. Bring your gaze slightly up in space. And then on an inhale, we're going to rise all the way up into our one-legged mountain. So that's bringing your arms and your left knee all the way with you. And then we'll take dancers, Natarajasana. So left hand drops down at your side. The hand is open towards the left side of the room. Your palm is ready to grab onto your foot. So bend your left knee, bring the heel to the sit bone, and then grab the inside arch of the foot. So your thumb has the bottom, fingers have the top. And then you're going to take a deep breath in here, and on your exhale, start to engage the bind.
So your leg kicks back, pulling your arm taut, and then your gaze is still slightly up in space, kind of like airplane. Right arm is still reaching slightly up and moving forward. And again, just play with your balance. If you fall out of it, no worries. And if you were looking at yourself in a mirror, the left arm and the left leg would just be disappearing back behind your body. Back behind the hip, back behind the shoulder. And then before the love is lost, on an inhale, just reach your arms and your left knee back up into one-legged mountain. And on your exhale, we're going to swim all the way back into a low lunge position. So through airplane, hands down to frame your right foot, ball the left foot behind you. From here, we'll move into half pigeon. So drop your back left knee to the ground, and then heel toe your right foot over to the left side of your mat and drop your right knee over to the right side of your mat. Your legs make a 7 shape. Look directly back across your shoulder, and then have the top of the left foot to the ground. Slide it back a little bit. Bring the gaze forward. This is an upward facing pigeon rooted into your fingertips. And then you just lower down onto your forearms, and then just lower the head down to the ground or down to your stacked hands like I'm doing. You could have the top of your right foot or the side of the right foot down to the earth. And then we're just looking to chill out here, just to relax. There's a little bit of engagement we can check in with, just that we're not dropping the weight down into one hip or the other, but that the hips are balanced in space with one another. And a way to check that out is that you have the top of your left thigh and the top of the left foot all pointing straight down to the ground. And then just taking those inhales, taking those exhales. Finding that mindfulness piece. Awesome. Push your hands into the ground. Lift your chest up. Palms under your shoulders. Tuck the left toes and bring your right leg up and back in space. And we just give a little bit of movement to it, whether you're extending or bending through your knee. And then you can go to a full down dog or shift forward to a 3-legged plank. Breathe at the top. Exhale halfway down. Press to the tops of your feet. Inhale, upward facing dog. Tuck the toes. We'll lift back into down dog. Okay, and as we take the left side, when you're ready, just draw your left leg back and up in space to a 3-legged down dog. And as you exhale, open the hip and bend the knee, draping the toes down over to the right. Shoulders stay balanced underneath you, heels pointing directly back, that right heel. Breathe into that scorpion tail. And on your next exhale, you just step your left foot up in between the hands to a low lunge. So to twist the low lunge, leave the right hand under your shoulder, whether it's your palm, your fist, or your fingertips. And then you'll draw that left arm up nice and tall, so twisting open the gaze over to the left side of the room. And if you want, move up to the middle fingertip on the right hand as you breathe. Or try hovering the right hand off the ground. We'll take one more breath in here. On the exhale, both hands come down to the inside of your left foot. Heel toe your left foot over to the left side of your mat to make room for it again, runner's lunge. Right foot can back up a little bit and a little bit to the right. And then repeat the option you took. So you could have the back knee down to the ground. You could stay up on your hands, or you could bring your elbows to the ground or bring your elbows down to a block. Again, kind of for that front profile view, what we're looking at is that we've got that back right leg all the way behind us. And then we're dropping those elbows down to the ground or down to a block. Left foot's out to the side. And your left knee's right above your left heel. And the weight of the head can just release here.
Awesome breathing. So from our runner's lunge, we're coming back up to a low lunge position. If you got the block, slide it out of the way. And then from your low lunge position, just bring your gaze slightly up. And on your inhale, we're going to stand all the way up into our one-legged mountain, so bringing the arms to the right knee. Now to get into Natarajasana, dancers, drop the right arm at your side. Belly of the forearm is open, palms open. And you'll bend the right knee and bring the heel in towards your sit bone. You're grabbing the inside arch of the foot, so your thumb has the bottom, fingers have the top. Then when you're ready, you're going to engage your bind, lean slightly forward, leg kicks back, pulling your arm taut, and your gaze stays slightly forward in space here. Find that breath, friends. Feel that big left toe rooting to the earth. And then we'll inhale to rise back up one-legged mountain, arms and right knee. And on your exhale, swim back to your low lunge position. The hands frame the left foot, ball the right foot to the ground behind us. We'll move into that half pigeon so you can drop your back right knee. And then heel toe your left foot over to the right side of your mat and make the 7 shape, dropping your knee over to the left side of your mat. Press into your fingertips, lift up through your chest, and then take your gaze back over your right shoulder and just slide the right leg back a little bit. Awesome. When you're ready, just lower from that upward facing pigeon, then onto your forearms. Head down to the ground or head down to your stacked hands. Left knee's out wide away from the body, and then you can have the top of the foot or the side of the foot to the floor. And you're looking just for levels of sensation that make sense for your body. So not too much, not too little, just that Goldilocks sensation right in the middle. Use your inhales, use your exhales. And then just press your hands to the ground under your shoulders. Lift up through your chest. Tuck your right toes and draw your left leg back and up in space. You can stretch out through it. You can go to a full down dog or shift forward to your 3-legged plank. Drop halfway down. Press the tops of your feet. Inhale, upward facing dog. Tuck your toes and come back into your last down dog. Take a deep breath into it. Exhale, release it out. Just lower your knees to the ground. Drop one of your hips to the floor. We'll bring our legs forward in space and then set up a seated forward fold. So your heels are up to the top of your mat. Walk your sit bones back a little bit in space here on the front edge. And just like you're doing mountain pose with your arms and spine, inhale to reach up tall. And on your exhale, hinge out from your hips and dive forward. You can grab onto your toes, you can grab onto the shins, or have your hands down to the ground. Take an inhale like you're on a road bike, just lifting your chest up, lengthening your low back, gazes forward. And on your exhale, refold. Gaze down to the ground, crown of the head reaching forward. Find your breathing. And see if you can soften around this pose. Let go of any expectations of your body of where you think it should be. And let's just tap into what we're working with, what's right here, right now. And finding that love for what we have, that gratitude for what we have. On the inhale, just reach your arms up tall in space. Breathe in. And as you exhale, take your hands into your heart center and then place the hands down to the floor at your sides. Slide your hips up a little bit in space. Plant your feet to the floor. Reach your arms forward. And then vertebrae by vertebrae, use that core strength to lower down. Your head will be the last thing to come down into the ground. And when your head comes down, we're going to step the heels back in towards the body until your fingers can touch your heels. With the heels underneath your knees, drive your triceps, elbows down to the ground, and for bridge pose, just lift your hips up away from the earth as you root down into the feet. Shoulder blades can step in a little closer, making that shell for your heart. And then we'll find that breath here, friends. Take one more inhale. And on the exhale, vertebrae by vertebrae, release your hips to the ground. Draw your knees to your chest. Wrap your arms around them and just give yourself a little rock side to side. Nice. And then we'll stack our knees over to the left. So your hips roll onto the outside edge of the left hip. And extend and reach your right arm out to the right. Gaze goes out over your fingertips. Hold your body in the twist and let your breath just snake its way through your spine. And just be generous with your breathing. From the end of your breath, bring your knees back up to center, wrap your arms around them, just give yourself a little rock out. And then we're going to switch our sides out. So stack your knees over to the right onto the outside edge of your right hip. Reach and extend your left arm out to the left and take your gaze out across your left fingertips. Easy breathing. And then from the end of your breath, just roll onto your back. You can take the knees into the chest, or if you want to do a happy baby, hook the peace sign fingers up to your big toes or the hands to the edges of your feet. The knees come out wide from the body, and then they're bent so the soles of the feet are shining up in space, ankles stacked above the knees. Gently pull down on the frame and just give yourself a little rock side to side, massaging out the hips, low back, and sacrum. And then we'll move into our final resting pose, our corpse posture, Shavasana. You can set the blanket if you have it underneath your head, legs, or over your body. Or you just let your body relax out here. Weight of the feet just relax open. Arms release out at your sides. Let the hands just relax open. Close through your eyes. And then allow your body to take back over on the breath. And as we place our body into this place of stillness, we're inviting our mind and we're inviting our emotions into this deeper place of peace. Saying don't worry about a thing. Now every little thing, we're gonna be alright. We're saying don't worry about a thing. With every little thing, gonna be alright. So I rise up this morning and smile with the rising sun. With three little birds perched by my doorstep, they're singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. Saying this is my message to you. Na 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 na. Oh, na 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 na. Na na na. Oh, na 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 na. Oh, na na na. Na 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 na, na 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 na, na na na, na 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 na. We're saying don't worry about a thing. Every little thing, they're gonna be alright. Saying don't worry about a thing. Every little thing, they're gonna be alright. So rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. With three little birds by my doorstep, they're singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true. We're saying this is my message to you. Na 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 na. Na 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 na, na na na, oh na 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 na. So just start to bring some life back into your body. Move into your fingers, move into your toes. You can stretch your arms back overhead, roll out your ankles, roll out your wrists. And take the weight onto your side, curl up into a fetal position. You can relax your head to your outstretched arm. Just deepen through your breath. And then come up to a cross-legged position or whatever pose you'd like to end our class with.
Find the front edge of your sit bones if you are on the sit bones. On an inhale, lengthen your arms wide and tall. And as you exhale, just bring your hands down into your heart center, thumbs back against your sternum. The weight of your head release forward. Friends, thank you so much for letting me lead you through your practice today. I hope you have an awesome rest of it. The light in me greets the light in you. Namaste.